You guys might know me as the guy who currently holds the record for most subs lost in a single day. Hey, okay, it's Slazo. I think. I can't be bothered researching that for this video, but I'm pretty sure I hold that. Wait, what's that? What? Did you guys hear that?
"2019 is the year of the pig, or as I like to say, the year of prominent YouTube creators being exposed as sexually abusive pieces of shit. Though to be honest, there isn't much of a difference to gauge there anyway. Today, we'll be talking about Slazo, also known as Michael, a 19-year-old Australian commentary YouTuber. Slazo's videos are your run-of-the-mill commentary YouTuber content, covering whatever hit trend is popping off at the time, whether that be TikTok, Reddit, or James Charles. And to be fair, I actually used to be a pretty big fan of Slazo in the early days, with us actually interacting a few times when he reached 50,000 subscribers. As a relatively immature 16-year-old, seeing someone only 1 year older than me reaching such great success on the platform was actually very inspiring. Little did I know that Slazo was definitely not someone I should have been looking up to. On the 10th of June 2019, shortly after Slazo hit 800,000 subscribers on YouTube, his ex-girlfriend Chey tweeted out, "Why I haven't been posting and what's been going on." A tweet with a twitlonger attached to it. In this twitlonger, Chey outlined how Slazo was repeatedly abusive both verbally and sexually to her in their relationship. Hello, this is Fizzy Pop, or as some of you may know me, Chey. I need to talk about some serious topics today, and I ask you to read the entire thing. I'd recently been hearing some comments from mutual/friends that Slazo had been acting strange, and had made some people uncomfortable, and I needed to speak out. I have been silent about this for almost 3 years now, and after a lot of consideration, and talking to my closest friends, along with considering police involvement, I have decided to come out. Slazo, who I'll be referring to as Michael, and I were in a relationship from 2016 to 2017, but continued to talk into 2018 in a provocative way. Michael, during our relationship, was abusive both verbally and sexually. During our time together, Michael was incredibly demanding of sexual favours, and would often try and guilt or force me into situations which I did not feel comfortable. If I were to try and deny or argue against him, he would become aggressive. Michael would often yell or become upset when I refused or said I was not in the mood. To this, the only way to calm him down was me to send him images, or undress on camera. We lived 3 hours away from each other by train, so most of this time this was our only contact. However, Michael and I had met several times. Mike is 2 years my senior, and at the time I was 14, 15 years old, while he was 16 to 17 years old. I had expressed to Michael that I would rather wait until I was 16 to have sex, which in the end never happened. Michael on our first date touched me in a cinema despite me never kissing someone before. I assumed this was normal, although I was uncomfortable by it, and I just let it happen. Our second date was much of the same, him asking me for a blowjob and even trying to undo my bra in a public park. Again, I was uncomfortable. There were many times that I would say no or even cry, and I was never taken seriously, and he would move my hands to touch him while I cried, or touch me. He would also not visit if I was on my period. Even so, every time that something bad would happen, and I would cry or I'd say I'd wanted to break up with him, he begged me to stay, that he would do better and that he loved me, and I believed him. His behaviour afterwards continuously got worse. He denied me access to my friends, getting mad if I talked to or went to go out with them, and also controlled my art. If I drew something he did not like, he would get mad and take it down, not wanting to deal with an outburst. Michael controlled almost every aspect of my life, and I was reduced to thinking I was nothing more than a sex object. I, at that stage, then attempted to take my own life during that relationship. I am on antidepressant medication, have been for almost 4 years, and the amount of stress that has built up, I ended up in the hospital. I was sent home soon after, lying to the doctors and my family that I had woken up in the middle of the night after a panic attack and had taken way too many pills. By accident. Michael, though, after all was said and done, after I was out of the hospital and back in therapy, asked if I really needed my medication, because it lowered my sex drive. Now, thinking back on it, I feel stupid for being so forgiving and naive and not telling anyone, but I was so scared if I told someone, I would ruin Michael's life. This was my first relationship, and my first example of what I was to believe a relationship was. I lost a lot of friends, opportunities, and time because of what happened, and I don't want this to happen to someone else. I believe people can change, and have heavily tried to believe and benefit the doubt for Michael for a long time regarding him and his actions. But the recent actions and information I have heard, I can no longer overlook. As we can see in this twit longer, Slazo's actions are despicable, and carry traits of a textbook manipulator. His continued pressure upon Chey is disturbing, and at times borders upon rape. Michael clearly showed no care or empathy to his girlfriend, and instead treated her as a sex thing, something he could use, something that should comply to his needs, and if Chey wouldn't, he would become aggressive. The true extent of Michael's actions can be seen when he questions if Chey should really need her anxiety medication, as it lowers her sex drive. This isn't something a caring boyfriend would say. This isn't something a decent human being could say. It clearly shows that Slazo has no care for his girlfriend as an actual person, clearly prioritizing sex over serious mental health issues, which is fucking disturbing. But it doesn't end there. Chey actually attached an Imgur folder containing dozens of screenshots of her exchanges with Michael, which truly show the disturbing extent of his abuse. Slazo's actions started with him forcing sexual advances onto Chey while she was clearly uncomfortable. At first, she would protest against Slazo's actions, asking him to stop, but this didn't work, with Michael just playing dumb, as if he had no understanding of what he was doing. He would carry on this act until Chey would simply give up and just forgive him, and the cycle would begin again. But this goes further. Though Michael promised his then-girlfriend that he would have everything under control, and he would stop his unwanted sexual advances, they only really seem to grow in potency and frequency. All the whilst he attempts to rationalise his actions to his partner, claiming that it's all down, reassuring Chey that she was being an amazing girlfriend, an amazing person for dealing with this all, and it's all on him. Yet this wouldn't last long. Within a matter of minutes, Slazo goes from reassuring Chey that she's doing great and they could work through their actions together, to insinuating that he can't help being attracted to other girls, and that one of these days he may just end up with one of them. Not only is this a tactic used by Michael to belittle his partner, implying that if she is somehow unable to comply with his demands and his sexual advances, he'll just have to find someone else to satisfy him. It actually also seems like he's doing this for himself and for his own pleasure, repeatedly questioning if Chey is jealous of him looking at other girls. And in a creepy, sick, twisted way, it seems as if Slazo is taking gratification from doing this, from belittling his partner. And judging from the screenshots, things just got worse. Michael's not trying to hide or reason about his behaviour, instead choosing to be a whole lot more direct, telling her that when he gets back home, it's rape time, before quickly masking this by telling his girlfriend that he loves her. This is textbook abuse, saying horrifically abusive things such as, it's rape time, only to quickly mask it all by saying that you love the person, is terrifying, and it's very clear what Slazo is trying to do. As of today, the 11th, one day after the Twitlonger and Imgur folder were initially shared, there's been no response or any activity from Slazo. However, seeing YouTubers such as ImAlex and iNabber coming out in support of Chey, among so many others, has been genuinely heartwarming. I am so glad we're taking this issue seriously and showing support where it is needed the most, with the victims. I urge you to send your support to Chey. I can't imagine how impossibly tough this would be to come out about after having on your chest for 3 years. It is genuinely so inspiring that Chey was able to actually come out and talk about this all publicly, shaming her abuser. But last but not least, I have one thing to say. Fuck Slazo.
That sacred motion, my devotion is leading me into the heartland. I wanted to be an astronaut, but so did everyone. And I'm just not that smart, man.